Right now, it is International Women's Day. We take a look at how local organizations have been advocating for women's rights for over a decade. Also, the Esquire Club is back in the hands of one of its original owners. We sit down with them tonight. Plus, we're following how a Wisconsin teen is charged in the murder of their mother, inspired by the subjects of a recent Netflix documentary. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. We begin with breaking news this evening. One person is injured in a shooting on Madison's east side as of Saturday morning. Madison Police Department said the shooting occurred at an apartment between Straubel Street and Straubel Court just before noon. A 25-year-old man was taken to the hospital for his injuries. Police said the injuries are believed to be non-life-threatening. No arrests have been made, and the investigation is ongoing. We'll continue to keep you updated both on air and online. As we gather more information, just head on over to our website at channel3000.com. Well, we got a tad bit of a warm-up today. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaze Color. Blaze, how does it feel out there?
Yeah, it was a beautiful day today. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures in the 40s. A few of us got into the mid-50s up near La Crosse, and warmer temperatures are moving on in for your Sunday and further into Monday. It's a bit breezy out here because our winds have got to move up those warmer temperatures. Upper 50s to low 60s to end the weekend. Underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. Windier tomorrow with gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour at times. Right now we're in the mid-40s mostly, and over the next couple of hours we'll eventually settle into the upper 20s to low 30s. Like last night going into your Saturday, clear to mostly clear conditions, so any evening plans, definitely take that jacket. We're not out of kind of that cooler, sometimes feeling winter air yet. That will happen over the next few weeks, so you definitely want that jacket tonight as we settle into the upper 20s to low 30s. So a little bit warmer than where we should be for this time of year, but again, we have to cool off only a little bit to then climb into the 60s for your Sunday and then further into Monday. We could even squeeze out a few 70s by the end of next week, but we're also keeping an eye on a big weather system that could bring up the warmth along with some thunderstorms. So we'll time that out in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. We'll see you in just a bit. Today is International Women's Day. For the past 11 years, organizations in Madison have organized events celebrating and advocating for women's rights. Our Tanisha Shaw talked to the woman that's been spearheading the festivities for over a decade.
I'm brave! I'm brave!
Every year on March 8th, women are celebrated.
Happy International Women's Day to all the women in the world, especially the Madison area women.
Emily Sangolo is the founder of the nonprofit Africade. Every year, Africade and 4W Initiative partner to celebrate and advocate.
Where I grew up, which is Cameroon, this is a holiday. Since it's on a Saturday, Monday will be a bridge. It is a holiday, so there's a lot going on, a lot of workshops, a lot of cultural events, parades. So really creating this space so that women have the freedom to be out.
Emily also told me that before 2014, there wasn't a big International Women's Day celebration here in Madison. She's proud to bring a piece of Cameroon here to Wisconsin.
America, hello, we need something. Madison, hello. And me being me, I said, we have to begin celebrating it. And I'm very, very happy because in Madison-Dane County today, we have a lot of other groups hosting events to celebrate women.
Since 2014, the community celebrates International Women's Day at Christ Presbyterian Church. This year, the theme is Still We Rise.
Because there are just so many challenges that women have to experience. I shouldn't say have, that women experience.
Everyone is welcome to celebrate every single year under one requirement.
The only things that we have to have in common is to be committed to women's rights. Because we can't do it alone.
Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. There was also a marketplace that put a spotlight on local women business owners. The Esquire Club is reopening after a sign on the door last week announced its sudden closure. John Kavanaugh is retaking ownership of the restaurant, which has been on Madison's north side since its parents opened it in 1947. Friday was the first day back, and tonight the club will be doing a dinner service. The Kavanaughs are asking customers for their patience as they renew licenses and set phones up. Tonight at 10, our Elia La Liberté speaks with the returned owner about the future of the club. The Wisconsin Elections Commission will move to continue an investigation into uncounted ballots found in the city of Madison. The investigation was originally launched in January, looking to find an explanation into how 193 ballots from 3 different wards went unprocessed. The WEC will also now direct staff to craft guidance for clerks on how to proceed if a similar situation occurs in another city. That guidance is set to be released before the April 1st general election. The annual food drive, Scouting for Good, from Scouting America was back Saturday morning. Scouts picked up non-perishable food donations left on doorsteps. Some troops hosted food drive collection events at local grocery stores. All donations will go to food pantries like Second Harvest Food Bank, the Sunshine Place Emergency Food Pantry, and more. In total, the event collected over 4,600 pounds of food. A Wisconsin teen inspired by the Menendez brothers is charged with the murder of their mother. Ben Jordan has more.
A quiet Caledonian neighborhood completely caught off guard as neighbors were shocked at what unfolded just a couple doors down Tuesday night.
My husband and I have lived here for 25 years this year, and no, nothing like this has ever happened before.
Court documents unveil a gruesome scene at this home. When officers arrived at 10:30, they saw Reed Galinsky exiting the house. He shared with officers that he killed his mother, now identified as Suzanne Galinsky. Reed stating, "She is dead. She is dead from what I did." Neighbor Haley Edmondson spoke with us Wednesday and knew the family. She would have never expected this.
I think it's just really hard for anyone to believe what happened, and she never deserved that.
During questioning, Galinsky told investigators he came home from school and felt depressed, as well as an urge to kill his parents. He also said he'd been taking his brother's anxiety medication for about a month. On that night, he said he took 9 pills and that it made him high and he enjoyed it. After dinner, he began watching the Menendez brothers documentary on Netflix, and that inspired him to kill his parents. The report goes on to say he allegedly hit his mother with a dumbbell while she searched for his sleeping medication before stabbing her repeatedly. Galinsky said his mother asked him why, and he replied, pain.
Our thoughts are certainly with those impacted. Coming up next on News 3 Down at 6, the House unveils a stopgap measure to keep the government funded through September. How this may avert a government shutdown. Plus, the CDC reportedly plans to study vaccines and its connection to autism. We'll tell you why after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Thank you for staying with us. The House unveiled a stopgap measure to keep the government funded. The bill could avert a looming shutdown, but there may be challenges ahead. CBS correspondent Nicole Killian reports from West Palm Beach, Florida.
House Republicans unveiled a spending bill aimed at heading off a federal government shutdown. The 99-page legislation would provide a slight boost to defense programs and cut non-defense spending below 2024 budget year levels. The measure, which faces objections from some Democrats, would keep the government funded through September. On his social media site, President Trump urged Republicans to vote yes for the bill. Meanwhile, a group of labor unions is taking action to block Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency from gaining access to millions of American Social Security data. A motion filed late Friday asks a federal court for an emergency order to stop DOJ from tapping into the sensitive information. In Washington Saturday, activists held a Don't Abandon Ukraine rally. This week, Senate Intelligence Vice Chair Mark Warner spoke about the Trump administration's move to end some intelligence sharing with Ukraine.
But if we are not sharing intelligence with Ukraine, which the CIA director said is the case, then they're doing huge damage to Ukraine's chances to defend itself.
And Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei spoke out after Trump said he sent a letter offering to negotiate a nuclear deal with the Islamic Republic.
I'm not speaking out of strength or weakness. I'm just saying I'd rather see a peace deal than the other, but the other will solve the problem.
In a speech in Tehran, Khamenei accused the U.S. of bullying tactics. Nicole Killian, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
The CDC reportedly plans to study vaccines and autism. A person familiar with the situation said the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services requested the study, despite strong evidence that vaccines do not cause autism. The CDC has already published several studies related to this matter. None have found any evidence to suggest vaccines increase the risk of autism or other neurodevelopmental disorders. The prevalence of autism in the U.S. has increased in recent years. Experts say it's largely a result of increased awareness, changes in ways it's diagnosed, and increased access to specialty care. Republicans in Congress are looking at ways to cut hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid to help pay for extending the 2017 Trump tax cuts. A poll out of Friday that few Americans want lawmakers to slash spending on other health insurance programs. KFF, a nonpartisan health research group, found that only 17% of respondents said they approve of reducing federal Medicaid spending. The majority, 42% of people polled, want to increase spending, and 40% want Medicaid to stay about the same. Even among Republicans, only about a third support Congress cutting federal Medicaid spending. Medicaid provides health insurance coverage to more than 72 million low-income people. President Donald Trump has recently said he is not going to touch Medicaid, but acknowledged he would target waste, fraud, and abuse within the program. A Harvard study finds swapping your daily butter intake for certain plant-based oils may help reduce your risk of earlier death. The findings challenge a growing social media trend that attacks seed oils in favor of butter, ghee, and animal fats. The study analyzed 33 years of dietary data from more than 221,000 participants in the Nurses' Health Studies and a follow-up study. It found higher butter consumption associated with a 15% higher risk of mortality, and a higher intake of plant-based oils, including soybean, canola, and olive oil, was linked to a 16% reduction in total mortality. The study also found substituting just 10 grams of butter daily with these plant-based oils was tied to a 17% lower risk of both total mortality and cancer-related deaths. Coming up after the break, Blaze returns with a complete look of your first one forecast. Forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze.
And we are looking at a quiet Saturday night. Sunday, we've already talked about, but again, warmer with 50s and 60s likely. It's going to be breezy too. Southwesterly winds anywhere between 30 to maybe 40 miles per hour, especially as we go from the late morning through the late afternoon. And then we look ahead to Friday. That's our next real rain chance over the next 7 days because of a large low pressure system that's going to be coming out of the plains and then further into the Midwest as we go Friday into Saturday. So this is just a snapshot of this low pressure system. It's a very healthy low. It's got a cold front, it's warm front, it's occluded front here, which is just a fancy way of saying the cold front has caught up to the warm front. And from this point onwards, it will be weakening. But as it's coming out of the plains, it might actually bring us some showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms. And we're going to be watching carefully to see how quickly the weakening happens, because if it doesn't happen as soon as some of the models suggest, we may even see some severe weather, some of the first severe weather of the season out of this low pressure system. Now, in terms of rain, the heaviest amount does continue to look to be to our west, where more of that precipitation is essentially just going to be traveling from north to south. We're going to watch as north or southerly rain moves northwards, but we do get a brief break. So we're looking at a quarter to a half an inch at best. Some folks further north, Marshfield, Rhinelander, upwards of a half an inch to an inch of rain. These are just early estimates. We'll continue to look to see if the low center continues to stay off to our south and west, and if the track is more north than northeasterly or even easterly, because that's going to change how much rain we do see and even some thunderstorms as we go into next week. But Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and most likely Thursday as well, we will remain dry. We might squeeze out a shower or thunderstorm further east Thursday as that low begins to move off of the Rockies into the plains. But the best chance for rain is going to start Friday. And essentially, this low pressure system is going to continue to impact us through at least Sunday of your upcoming work week. But it's kind of a roller coaster here over the next 10 days. We'll warm up into the 60s by Monday. Another low is going to warm us up, and then as it moves out of the Midwest, the cold front cools us down Tuesday. Then we warm back up going into your Friday. There's that upper 60s to maybe our first low 70s of the year as that low begins to move into the Midwest. Once it exits, we're cooling back down. And then after St. Patrick's Day, yet another low pressure system looks to move into the area, taking us out of those upper 30s to low 40s back into the 60s. And you can see that here. There's the warm up from our Monday low. We're underneath the yellows and the oranges. The cold front cools us down. We gradually warm Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, upper 60s to low 70s. There's the low pressure system, still warm on Saturday, and then Sunday onwards, we cool on down. The jet stream is a little bit more active as we head further out of winter into spring. So this doesn't really surprise me. It's just that time of year that we're going to get these warm-ups, a brief cool down, we warm back up, a brief cool down. So we have the cool down Tuesday. We have another cool down on St. Patrick's Day. But really until then, Jalen, it's going to be a pretty nice week, upper 50s to low 60s Sunday and Monday as well.
I mean, I'll take it. I don't know if 49 at this point is really a cool down.
No. I mean, it could be much colder for sure.
All right. Well, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Still ahead, there was a lot on the line at the Kohl Center today. The Badgers look to win their regular season finale, but could they get the job done? Andrew has the highlights next on News 3 Now.
When you are the best, your standards are just a little bit different. Being the top-ranked team in the country isn't necessarily what Wisconsin women's hockey wants. They want to win their conference, check, win their conference tournament, and win a national title. They could cross another one of those goals off the list today, playing Minnesota in the WCHA final face-off, looking for that conference tournament crown. But no one ever said it would be easy. Late in the second period, Minnesota ties it at 3 apiece, a score that would hold until the final minute of the game. But Mark Johnson was never nervous. With less than 30 seconds left in regulation, the Badgers send a shot, and it finds the back of the net. Sarah Wozniewicz is the hero, and Wisconsin wins it 4-3. They are the WCHA champs for the 11th time in program history. All Wisconsin men's hoops had to do today to secure a double bye in the Big Ten tournament was beat Penn State, which seemed like a sure thing. The Nittany Lions have never won at the Kohl Center, and they sit 17th in the Big Ten standings. Not to mention, it was senior day, but today none of that mattered. It looked great in the first half. John Tonje takes and makes the triple to put Wisconsin up by 13 points. But then everything changed. After that bucket, the Badgers were outscored 59-35 the rest of the way, or in other words, were outscored by 24 points in the final 25 minutes of the game. John Blackwell tried his best to not let this one slip away. He scored 14 points in the second half, including a couple of clutch threes. But in the end, the Badgers just could not get out of their own way, leading to what unequivocally will go down as their worst loss of the season. Penn State takes it 86-75, and heading into the postseason, the only question is, will the Badgers use this as a wake-up call?
Well, we're going to find out. We'll see the response. We'll be able to find out Thursday or Friday whenever we play. What our response is. And I think knowing those guys, this is not a good day. We have no one to blame but ourselves, myself included. So I got to continue to push buttons and find ways, and we got to get healthy.
High school girls basketball, Wanakee taking on the defending D1 state champ Arrowhead with a spot at state on the line. The Warriors down early but battled back. Grayson Phillips dials one up from deep. One of 5 triples for her on the day, and that would give Wanakee a 1-point lead. Phillips finished with 19. Then later, it's Audra Might dropping home the floater. She added in 12 for the Warriors, but Natalie Cuso and the Warhawks always had an answer. She scored a game-high 31 points, and Wanakee falls in overtime 72-69. So the Warriors come up just short, but we did have some teams, local teams, punch their ticket to next week's state tournament. Edgewood, Cuba City, and Barneveld will make their trip to Green Bay, and later tonight, Albany Monticello will have a chance to do the same. Certainly a tough day for Wisconsin men's basketball, one that you want to put long in the rear view, but something that's kind of been happening lately. They've lost 3 of their last 5 to close the season. It'll be really interesting to see what they do in the Big Ten tournament. We assume they'll be the 5 seed, but they could maybe get back to that 4 seed if USC beats UCLA tonight. So,
Coach Gard mentioned right at the end getting healthy. Could you see that some of their depth have been impacted by some of the injuries they're going through right now?
Yes, certainly. They haven't had Max Klesmet for the last couple of games, and Steven Crowell said afterwards that they're a different team without him. Nolan Winter injured his shoulder in today's game. That's something to look out for. But, you know, Greg Gard said if they can have all of their core guys back for the Big Ten tournament, it would pay dividends going forward. So
for sure.
They can't have another slip up like this, though.
March is here, so got to lock back in, fellas.
Absolutely.
All right, sounds good. Blaze, what should we expect as we head on out?
Quiet tonight and quiet for your Sunday. Upper 20s to low 30s tonight. Underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. Same conditions expected Sunday, like what we saw today. Plenty of sunshine. A bit more breezy. And remember, we spring forward in the early morning hours on Sunday, but that means we get to the 60s that much sooner. Quiet through most of next week. We're eyeing a chance for showers and thunderstorms beginning on Friday.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys, and thank you to our crew. We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.